We finished restoring your Nagoya Pachinko machine, and this quick start guide will show you how to set it up and play. You'll want to watch the video for your cabinet, and it'll show you how to install the machine into the cabinet. After you install the machine in the cabinet, the first thing you want to do on the back of the machine is make sure that this lever is down. There's a spring here. If you just push down. Now the second thing, and this is the most important thing with Pachinko machines, is the one ball seesaw. So this brass rectangular piece right here has a couple of Pachinko balls in it, and it pivots on this nail right here. Right now it's in the wrong position. In this position, jackpots won't get paid up. They'll just start to back up in here, and once you get a ball jam in here, it's hard to clear. So you want to reset the seesaw just by taking your finger and gently pushing it down. Now this machine is designed to work on gravity alone. There's no electricity needed at all. There are no lights standard with this machine. Now we will reattach the lights that you had for decorative purposes. The Christmas lights, we'll attach them to the back, and they'll just kind of show through these holes when you're playing the machine if it's plugged in. But I wanted to leave the lights off so we could show you the mechanics of how everything works. Add some balls into the supply tray. You'll actually pour them through the top funnel of the cabinet. Next you'll take a long white bucket that comes with the cabinet and you'll put it in the bottom slot of the cabinet. But I'm sticking this bucket right here so we can test the machine and show you. You can have balls that will fall out of this chute here, and then balls that will fall out of this chute here during normal operation. You also have a chute over here, we'll see later, that balls will come out, but only when you empty the machine. Next you'll need to fill the jackpot assembly with balls. Now there's three ways to do that. One, you could just drop some balls in here and they would roll down into here. Two is you could open the glass door, drop a ball in the jackpot, and what would happen is that ball would activate the levers and then it would load the jackpot with balls. So the first one, you wouldn't actually get a payout. It would just be putting balls into the assembly. Then you can close the door and play. Third, there's a little lever here we could push aside, and we could pull down this long arm, and it would create a jackpot, and it would fill the assembly up. Or you could just start playing and just know that the first time you get a jackpot, nothing would happen. That's no fun. So we're going to show you how to do this lever here. Let me zoom in on that. So this lever right here, it's a little brass piece. I'm pushing it back away from a nail, and if I push it back from a nail, then I can grab that nail and I can pull it down, and when I do, there's an arm that goes right back here behind the bell, and if I pull it all the way down, it'll push up on a rod on the other side of the machine, creating the jackpot. I'll zoom out so you can see that. Now when I do that, there's this long arm here. You can see it's at a slant, it's slanted down. If it was straight down, there's actually a pin here it would get caught on, and if I tried to pull on it and it was caught, it wouldn't work. So you got to make sure you have enough balls in your supply tray so it moves this lever out of the way like it is now. So I'll go ahead and push this aside. I'll pull down on the bar. Okay, now we have balls loaded into the jackpot assembly. Okay, we poured a few balls in here into your receiving tray. This is where you receive balls when you get a jackpot. We'll just take one out, and we're going to drop it through this hole here. And when we do, it rolls across and into the shooter lane. We'll pull down on the flipper. We'll take our index finger, put it up against the finger rest bar. We'll pull down on the flipper. I'll just pull all the way for now. Let go. And as you can see, it went all the way around, and then it went all the way around again, but didn't have enough power to go out on the play field. So how far down you pull, there's a spring in back, will determine how much power you have. And so the object of the game is to aim. So figure out how far down to pull to try and get the ball to drop down in the play field and fall in one of the pockets. These spinners will redirect the ball. Here's a pocket. There's a pocket here in the center. These all are pockets down here at the bottom. And if you get a ball in any of those, you win. You get a jackpot. The balls will fall down from the jackpot assembly, hit the bells, and then come out here. If it misses any of those, it'll drop down to this ramp and it'll roll out a hole in the back and it'll fall in the bucket. So let's do that again. Oh, already had a ball in there. So you can shoot sometimes 2, but if people put 3, 4, 5 balls in here, there won't be enough power to launch them on the play field, and that's when you'll have to stick your finger through the hole in the side of the cabinet, open your play field door. We'll see that in a minute. And so this is how you play Pachinko. We're going to open the glass and see some jackpots. Here is the playfield door latch from the back of the machine. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be sticking your finger through a hole in the cabinet, about where my finger is, and you will stick your finger through, reach till you find this part here. You're going to lift it up, and then you have to pull it back and then drop it down. Now the door will open. So from the front of your machine, let me zoom out. So from the front of the machine, we can pull this open. It may stick a little bit on the bottom, so you might want to pull more towards the bottom. We can get it out, swing it open, and as we swing it open, the flipper, you heard that click, that's because it was going underneath the door. So I'm going to pull it down, and as I pull back, you hear that. So when you go to close it, you have to make sure to pull this down when you close the door. Just drop balls in the various pockets and listen to the jackpot. You'll also see the balls here drop out and new ones fall in. No matter which one of those the ball goes in, you always get the same jackpot. We'll watch the center. We'll drop one in the top pocket. And the ball is directed in there and it hits this clear plastic part which spins. You can also get a jackpot right here, this little door. So now let's close the playfield door. Pull the flipper down, pull it over, and when you go to close it, like I say, you may have to lift up a little bit. Also, this bar right here, you may have to push on it a little bit as you're sliding it in. And when you have it closed, it's not completely flush all the way up and down. That's just the way the cabinet was made from the original. Then you can stick your finger through the hole and re-latch it if you want. Or you can just leave the latch open. It's the basic operation, but what I want to do now is I want to empty the machine, then I'm going to reload it, and I'm going to show you a couple of trouble spots, things that may occur because these are old mechanical machines, lots of levers and moving parts, and things can, sometimes the parts won't fully move, complete their cycle, so we'll go over all that. But to empty all the balls, because you never want to lay down the machine or transport the machine with balls in it, what you're going to do is that part that we started with, you're going to flip that up, push this down. When we do, all the balls in here will roll down this track down here, so we remove our bucket over there to catch them. So as the balls rolled past, this arm dropped down and now it's in a locked position. We'll go ahead and relock this now. You still have balls in the jackpot assembly, and to get those out you can just activate a jackpot by moving these levers. I'm just going to push up on this one here, and the balls that were in the jackpot assembly, they fell down, hit the bell, hit this bell, and then went down to the receiving tray. Okay, that's got all the balls out of the back of the machine. Now you just scoop them out of the front receiving tray and then you can transport it. I'm going to reload it and we'll take a look at a few issues. Now when you're playing and you've won a lot of jackpots, if you haven't filled up your supply tray and back, this arm comes down and it locks So the next time you get a jackpot, I dropped a ball in and the jackpot wasn't able to complete. It entered the seesaw tipped down, it landed on this arm, and this arm went part way. You can actually see the ball right here, and it's locked because of this right here. Best thing to do at that point, just add some balls to the top, and when you do, it'll move that lever out of the way, and then your jackpot's able to pay out. Another problem is if the seesaw is in the wrong position and you get a ball in the jackpot, then it won't pay out. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to zoom in this area. So I'm going to drop the ball in this hole, and you'll see it roll down, and it won't be able to enter the seesaw, so it'll actually go over the seesaw and enter in this track here. Okay, it's kind of a holding area, and it's waiting for, in the Pachinko parlor days, an attendant to come by, refill the machine, reset the seesaw, and then once the seesaw is reset, they can pay out those balls. I'll drop a couple more in. So you can have several in there, and the way to get them out, first reset the seesaw, then push up on this bar here. When we do it, let the ball go through here, land on this arm, and then push that arm down. Now that arm is made of brass. There's a lot of brass parts here, soft metal. If they get bent, they can be out of alignment, they can drag. So you want to be careful with all the parts back here. We're going to pay these out. Okay, a few more balls in a jackpot so you can see the mechanics working here. Then I'll zoom in on the top so you can see that. Here's another example. We've got a jackpot. The ball is resting here, but if we look up at the top, we'll see that there's plenty of balls in the supply tray. So what do we do in that case? Let me show you. What had happened is I didn't have enough balls in here. This arm dropped down and locked in place, and we tried to get a jackpot or get a payout. It didn't pay out because there weren't enough balls, so this pivoted down just partly, and as it pivoted down, it put some pressure on this point. So even when I added balls to the supply tray, there's too much pressure here to let this lever move out of the way, even though I have balls up here. So what you do in that case is just move this over to the side, releasing that pressure, and now it's all ready to go. A couple more jackpots from the top. Now here's a couple more jackpots from the bottom. Now you may have noticed on the last couple you didn't hear a real loud bell sound. That's because all the balls are coming down here and they're backing up. You can actually see them around the bell. So whenever you don't hear the bell sound, that means you probably got a jam back here. You're going to have to scoop them out of the receiving tray. Sometimes if the jam is really tight, you might actually have to tap on the back to loosen them because the weight of them might cause them all to stick. So, but let me show you a few jackpots. You get a jackpot, this thin rod here is what's going to reset the seesaw. A few more things to look at. You'll never really need to do this, but I want to show how it works. There's a cover here that if I were to push it in, instead of jackpot balls dropping all the way down and hitting the bells, they would roll out the back. There's really no purpose to do that. The reason it was there is so that Pachinko parlor attendants could get the balls out of the jackpot in the back without them rolling out to the front to the customer. You just leave that down. Also, there's a cover here. It's got a couple of dimples on both sides which holds it in place. So you just want to pry it off of those dimples carefully, and then you can get in here in case something is in here that shouldn't be, cotton or carpet fuzz or something. Normally you won't need to do that. The last thing is adjusting the tension on the spring. I'm pulling down on the flipper. There's a spring here. It goes all the way across the back, and it's attached to a bar with holes in it, and there's a nail here, and right now it's in the middle hole of all the holes on there. So if it's not enough tension, you can pull it off and you can move it to the nail to a different hole to adjust the tension. That concludes this quick start guide. We sure hope you enjoy your machine.